My mom saw the two people covered in blood. It was horrible.
On August 7, 2016, in Kansas City, United States, a tragedy occurred at Schlitterbahn Water Park. Its biggest tourist attraction, the Viaduct, was the tallest slide in the world, designed to provide an exciting and extreme adventure with all the safety measures for the whole family. However, no one would suspect that in reality, no person was safe at all. A passenger would receive such a brutal blow that their head would detach from their body.
Amusement parks and faves. What is supposed to be quintessential family fun turned tragic for one family.
6 went to the park and 5 came back.
What is hidden behind one of the most shocking accidents in the history of water parks? What went wrong with the attraction that was supposed to be the most exciting and safe? This is the story of the last raft that was launched from the tallest slide in the world and that would end up destroying an innocent family. It all started in 2012 when the co-owner of Schlitterbahn Water Parks, Jeff Henry, along with a designer named John Shuley, had the idea of building the tallest slide in the world in just a few weeks. But why the hurry? Jeff had to quickly come up with a new and refreshing announcement to share with the public, since the place was going to appear in a TV show about water parks. Eager to take advantage of the platform, they came up with announcing the first thing that came to their minds. Without considering the little time they had left, he told the whole country that they would seek the Guinness World Record with the colossal construction of tallest slide in the world.
I always set out to break all the records. I want to be the first at the bar to buy a drink, and I want to be the first to meet a pretty girl, and I want to be the first at everything, and I want to have the biggest, the tallest, and the fastest rides in our parks.
Besides the responsibility of building a structure of epic proportions in such a short time, another problem presented itself to the creators. Neither Henry nor Shuley had any knowledge of mechanical engineering to solve the problems that such a construction entails that are associated with the complex laws of physics. The challenge was for the steep descent to not cause the passengers to fly off in the curves, given the high speed reached in a few seconds. If the raft had someone small or light, they would not be able to stay within the slide lane. Unfortunately, these businessmen were very familiar with the laws of the state of Kansas, which did not require any credentials to carry out this complex operation, and did not require an official inspection for its operability. This faulty management would end up in a colossal tragedy.
There is no Kansas statute and no city codes that really allow us to go in and inspect the operation of those rides. In terms of whether the ride was designed properly or operates the way it should, we have no authority to check any of that.
Do you know who does in Kansas?
No one.
Schlitterbahn was a family franchise owned by the Henrys, who at that time owned 5 parks in the United States, located between Texas and Kansas. Their first park was opened in 1979 by Jeff. Annually, it welcomes millions of visitors who seek to escape the high temperatures of the summer. Not only does it offer slides of various types and sizes, but there are also artificial rivers and huge pools to spend the day with family. There is fun for children and adults who can relax in a bar while the children play with the peace of mind that the parks are extremely safe for all ages. Or at least, that's what they thought until that fateful day of August 7, 2016. On the television show, even the creators expressed doubts about the functioning of the slide.
We really didn't know whether we were going to survive it or not. And we didn't know whether we had it figured out or not. Despite
all the doubts of irregularities, they were able to build a structure 169 feet tall in just a few weeks. Verrückt, which means insane and crazy in German, became the tallest water slide in the world. To get an idea of its height, consider that the structure is taller than Niagara Falls. The descent is so steep that it can reach speeds of over 62 miles per hour. The last test carried out before its inauguration will be the prelude to the tragedy that would occur 2 years later.
All right, boys, kiss it goodbye, man. It fell backwards, tipped over, and killed every sandbag in there. We got enough done that we're all comfortable with what we saw, so we're good to go for tomorrow. If we mess up, it could be the end.
Finally, the Verrückt attraction was inaugurated in July 2014, and it did not take long to attract fun and thrill seekers by the thousands. Because of course, what adventure lovers wouldn't be tempted to launch themselves along with 2 other passengers, plunging near 17 stories vertically straight down inside a rubber raft at extreme speed. And when you reach the bottom of the slope, you go back up dramatically another 5 stories to go down again on a slope, ending up covered in water. All this in just 18 seconds. For 2 years, millions of people were able to experience this extreme adventure until the day the last passengers boarded the tallest slide in the world. On August 7, 2016, the park was celebrating Elected Official Day, a promotion that Schlitterbahn offered where it gave free admission to elected officials of the state and their families. Among them was the Schwab family, whose father was a representative from Kansas. He gladly accepted the invitation and decided to spend the day at the park with his wife and 4 children. However, he would never imagine the real cost that this free pass would have.
6 went to the park and 5 came back.
Caleb, 10 years old and one of Scott's sons, along with hundreds of people, climbed the 264 steps to the top of Verrückt, which at that time already held the record for being the world's largest water slide. From the top, the whole city of Kansas could be seen, offering a real spectacle. Caleb got on the front of the raft and put on a Velcro belt and a shoulder strap. Behind him, 2 women aged 32 and 25 completed the raft. The minimal safety measures for the passengers were a recurring criticism from visitors.
They have a little net over the top, so it looks like they'll catch you if you fly off of it.
The stitching was coming out of the boat. I did not feel safe on that ride at all. I did not feel safe with just a piece of Velcro holding me in and me having to hold myself in.
But despite everything, people continued to seek the experience of plunging down the slide, just like Caleb. Once seated, everything seemed normal when the gate opened. The raft moved and leaned forward to start the dizzying descent. Within a few seconds, it was already passing the second hill, but instead of staying in its fiberglass channel and continuing its course, the raft flew through the air. Caleb's head hit a net and a semicircular metal hoop at the top of the slide. The impact with the hoop caused his head to separate from his body instantly.
It was a very loud, just a boom boom. I knew immediately that somebody had fallen off the raft. We just heard this loud cracking noise almost, and so we all looked and we saw that there was the supports that hold the netting in place that's over the slide. A couple of them were all bent and jagged out of place. My mom saw the 2 people on the other behind the second and third row seats, and they were just covered in blood. It was horrible. One of the guys was still screaming, and so I told him, I said, there's nothing we can do.
During the investigation, it would be revealed that this was not the first accident to occur on Verrückt. Between 2014 and 2016, 11 customers reported being injured due to bumps inside the raft, others hitting their heads and even their rafts flying off, like in Caleb's case. However, Schlitterbahn never disclosed this information to the public. During the investigation, macabre details would come to light about how they were able to bypass the law to operate and the decisions they made that led to one of the most scandalous disasters in water parks. More than an accident, this tragedy was the result of serious negligence, combined with such arrogant individuals who would be willing to play with people's safety to achieve their ambitious goals. They found a perfect place to carry them out, a state with regulation laws so precarious and insufficient that they didn't see a problem when they were presented with this monstrous project. Unbelievably, just 3 days after Caleb's accident, the park opened its doors to the public. People flocked in.
We weren't sure whether to come or not, but we decided to go ahead and come, and but kind of mixed feelings. But the kids were looking forward to it, and we decided to come, and we brought some flowers with us because it just felt odd coming and not doing anything or recognizing it.
Co-owner Henry and his accomplice Shuli were brought to justice for this tragic incident. They were charged with assault, endangering a child, involuntary manslaughter of Caleb, and interfering with law enforcement. The men skipped crucial steps in the design, construction, and safety testing of the structure and rushed to build a thrill ride without the necessary expertise, creating a deadly ramp. And they knew it.
They have all been completely wrong.
Every bit of advice we've been given from the brightest brains and the smartest engineers, mathematicians, just have not been correct.
But the law once again failed the victims. A judge dismissed the charges against the two men. What measures were taken after the death of a 10-year-old boy on the tallest water slide in the world? The slide was demolished in 2018, and the water park has been closed since 2019. Workers will begin to reveal the extremely low levels of oversight.
The only inspections we've ever done is just people riding down slides one time, saying, "Oh, it's okay. You're good to go for the rest of the day now."
Around 4,200 people end up in the emergency room due to accidents at water parks in the United States, one of the most dangerous amusement locations. In the search for extreme thrills and unforgettable experiences, we must prioritize safety at all times. It is important to be aware of the risks associated with recreational activities and make sure to follow the rules and warnings provided by the park operators. Safety is everyone's responsibility, and we must take measures to protect our lives and those around us. Both water parks and theme parks must follow rigorous protocols, conduct frequent inspections, and have properly trained staff to ensure that the attractions are safe for all visitors.